Namaste, one and all, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. Welcome back to another episode of Quick Takes. Back one more time for the playoffs, just like the divisional round. The drama's about to just get started. Let's get started with, let's call them the small D. In Denver, in this one, between the Denver Broncos hosting Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. In this one, I'm rocking out with the still anointed MVP in this one and his Bills. Why do I say that? Starting off, I just actually recently realized, and I'm not sure how many people have actually pointed this out, but I do believe Luke Wattenberg is the starting center for the Denver Broncos, and he is on IR. Their offensive line has been phenomenal. I mean, Garrett Bowles, Ben Powers, since they added him from Baltimore, and look at their offensive line since then. And then Alec Forsyth, I just realized that he is their backup center, and he has been starting recently, unless I've been mistaken. But they still have Sam Mustipher as a backup to him, so that's still a solid three-center lineup for the Denver Broncos. Quinn Miners on the right side, All-Pro. Mike McGlinchey, he's there. But, I mean, I don't even need to speak on their defense. However, two things I do want to, or at least one thing I do want to point out is that I see that Brandon Jones is on IR. Why do I mention that? He is their starting safety next to Hufanga, who was out earlier in the year. He is still there the first year. Same thing with Drake Greenlaw in terms of communication in the back end. Maybe something can be had, especially with, the tight ends for the Buffalo Bills, as well as Khalil Shakir, who gets those intermediate yardages. If the communication breaks down a little bit, a veteran quarterback MVP, Josh Allen, it's, easy for him to do the pickings with his arm. If not, if they get caught up, then he could kind of, pick them apart with his legs. And that's where we are with that. So it's going to be interesting to see how PJ Locke fills in there. You're not going to go after Patrick Surtain, obviously. So you are going to have to, take your shots with Riley Moss. With Jaquan McMillan, they are going to have to make their plays at home. These guys are going to likely step up more than, they would probably on the road. But yeah, that's where it comes down to for the Broncos. For the Broncos as well. No J.K. Dobbins, who, almost every game since he has been out, since the Broncos are in the division, I mentioned it. J.K. Dobbins broke their 100-yard streak after 34 games, obviously against my Raiders, but he did that. And he is a veteran that they could have relied upon. R.J. Harvey, he's a rookie. With a, quarterback who's making his playoff debut, this year, because, they got the number 1 seed. They were in the playoffs last year. I know. But yeah, for a quarterback of that inexperienced, let's just say, in the playoffs for now, not having a veteran running back to rely upon, it's kind of tough for me to pick that, though the offensive line is phenomenal. And then in terms of weapon as well, like Cortland Sutton, yes, I could trust him. Outside of that, Marvin Mims, I have not seen a standout performance from him in the playoffs. Troy Franklin, he can go get those deep yardages, but the game's kind of scattered. He gets a game, maybe that, and I'm not trying to, downplay their performances. They have been phenomenal for them to get the number 1 seed and do all that, but they also had a offense that I do believe was out more than, and they punted more than they converted third downs or something of that sort. So we can't forget that aspect of that offense as well. See, the dog agrees with me as well. And then in the defensive aspect, like I mentioned, it's those little pieces and areas that Buffalo can, attack. It's very small margins in the playoffs. That's why it's one and done. That's why the playoffs make the, get the interest that it gets the money that it makes and everything else in between. Let's speak on the Buffalo Bills a little bit more. It looks like Ed Oliver is going to be back, so for their defense, it should help them out as well. Greg Rousseau, And you could say getting Joey Bosa was probably for this game. Formerly of the Los Angeles Chargers, they are out of the playoffs. Former divisional rival with the Denver Broncos, so he kind of understands how that franchise, functions. So there could be some, insight that he could probably provide to their defense. Another veteran that I do want to shout out in their defense is Shaq Thompson. Says his movement from Carolina to Buffalo last year. Unfortunately, he got hurt there, I do believe, last year as well. But he has came back, fought back, and he has done his thing. Same with Matt Milano. So there's a lot of those veterans. In this one, no Jordan Poyer, no Taylor Rapp, no DeMar Hamlin. So even for Denver, they do have, with Evan Ingram, there are areas that they can, take advantage of. But like I mentioned, those plays are going to have to be made. And if they are not going to get a second chance at this, with most of the inexperience in the whole lineup, in a sense, because nobody in the offensive line has won a title. None of the skilled position has done anything. Rookie running back, quarterback, barely in his second time making the playoffs. So everybody's gonna gain experience, and this is not their like last rodeo in a sense. But in this one, Josh Allen, this is one of his years. No Patrick Mahomes, no Lamar Jackson, no Joe Burrow, like what better chance for him to go get his Super Bowl, if not at least get to the Super Bowl. I think that's gonna, help Sean McDermott out with his, tenure in Buffalo, because now we have seen how coaches have been getting fired. Your resume, what is it now? Doesn't matter what you did yesterday, what is it now? And if, it doesn't show a Super Bowl in recent memory, for them it has not. NFC Championship, if they don't get to it again, there's going to be questions to be had. Maybe not this year, but next year for sure. There could be movement done. Now let's move on to the next matchup at hand. Now we move from, Central West all the way to Pacific Northwest. In this one, NFC West action at hand. Might be a close one because both of their games so far have been close, but at the same time, it might not. In Seattle, this one, I am taking the Seahawks. I am running with a 12th man. I am a 12th man. Let's see what happens. San Francisco, they have had a phenomenal run. I mean, you could call me a Bay Area hater or just I'm not a Bay Area hater. I'm a Bay Area lover, but maybe not the Niners one, especially not this year. Jungle Cat's right there. He could almost taste his return, but it might go to the wayside, my guy. I'm so sorry, but it is what it is. Not having a Nick Bosa, not having a Fred Warner, not having a Michael Williams, like it's gonna catch up to you at some point. Like it's been a phenomenal run, and you get your George Kittle unfortunately goes out in the last game as well. From your spirit animal to everything, and like the joy of playing football, George Kittle brings that. And not having that in Seattle, if that defense, once that fan base gets rapid, let's say the special teams is, falling in their favor as well, like all of that starts mounting upon you, and not having George Kittle and his energy on the field. He might be on the sideline, but, hopefully not just because of his injury. I hope he, takes care of his injury. Shout out to the guy, but, it is what it is. Like, they have had a phenomenal run. They went into Philly, got their revenge. They still have not gotten their Super Bowl. And unfortunately, this year might not be it either. Offensively, you are missing a piece in terms of Brandon Ayuk. Getting Ricky Pearsall back should help you out. But, they have great corners, lengthy corners on the other side in Devon Witherspoon and Reek Willen on the other side. Nick Imanwori as a rookie has been absolutely phenomenal. One of the best, probably after Kyle Hamilton, one of the best safeties in terms of their rookie years in recent memory. Like, undoubtable, right? And then, getting the likes of Julian Love back. I do believe he is back. Yes, he is. Kobe Bryant's there. And then they have depth at pass rushers too. You have Ernest Jones. Shout out to him. Former Ram, went to Tennessee, came back in the division. He is there. Also, DeMarcus Lawrence, he already, maybe had that rivalry in a sense when back in the day with Zach Martin, Travis Frederick, Tyron Smith, those boys, when they ran together against the Niners, they had a little thing going on. So maybe something lingers from there. You have Leonard Williams before he was in the NFC. He understands the dynamic between the Niners and the Seahawks. He has embraced it as well. So once you have guys in the trenches who have embraced it, the defensive backs, I mean, like the guys from the Legion of Boom were kind of proud of this defense and kind of see themselves in this defense. But at the same time, they have their own identity as well. So there is a balance of that. Offensive mastermind against a defensive mastermind. You guys know I love defense, so I'm going to roll with my defensive guy. Maybe I'll fall on my sword and Niners, have another miraculous run, go past in, and they are maybe going to the Super Bowl and possibly win it. We don't know what is to have, but in this one, I am going to pick the Seahawks. I am running with the 12th man. Let's see what happens. Sam Darnold's oblique injury does kind of concern me a little bit, but I think they're going to, even rely, like I mentioned 2 guys on the trenches, another one being their middle linebacker. Eric Hendricks has filled in pretty well for Bethune as well, but in this one, I think Shaq Charbonnet, Kenneth Walker. Also, another piece that I forgot to mention that you could kind of argue that is built to beat the Niners and the Rams in the division, Cooper Kupp. He knows Robert Saleh as well. He has familiarity playing against him when he was back with the Rams. Just the philosophy that the Niners play with defensively, and then offensively as well. He understands what they are working with because it's similar offenses. Kubiak, it is brother versus brother once again. So we're going to have to see. I am still going to, like last time, I'm going to give the edge to the bigger brother, the healthier team. Getting Rashid Shaheed back has actually worked out pretty well for them, especially in the special teams aspect. Torrey Horton, I wanted to double check, is unfortunately still on IR. I'm not sure if he is coming back. Elijah Arroyo, another rookie who had filled in where, but AJ Barner, Eric Saubert, they're not your household names, but they have actually filled in pretty well for the Seahawks. They're not going to complain. And then, we're going to see. It's, mano-a-mano divisional game. Both games have been a one-score game. It's going to be a close one, or it might be a blowout. We're going to have to see. Niners offense is humming, but they understand that as well. They have had faced CMC twice this year already. Third time out, they're not going to let him be, the main focus, with George Kittle, like I mentioned, already being out. It's going to be a tough one for the Niners, having to fly back home, having the Super Bowl here. This is going to be disappointing, but it is what it is. It has been a disappointing run for them in terms of the whole journey. But at the same time, do you want to complain about getting to 2 Super Bowls? So it's really a perspective thing. Shout out to the Bay. Shout out to the Niner fans. It's going to be a tough one, especially it being a divisional rivalry. But you know what? Tune in to see. Tomorrow, we do have 2 more games at hand in the divisional games. One in the AFC, one in the NFC. One of them being one of these NFC West teams. So stay tuned. Or go back and watch the old episodes of Quick Takes. But like I mentioned, come back if you don't want to watch tomorrow's. Or if you don't want to watch the past episodes, stay tuned for tomorrow's. And then we'll get into the other NFC West team. We'll get into the other AFC action earlier. And then, we got, 3 more games after that. NFL season is out like that. So is CFB National Championship. I don't know if I want to make a prediction. This might be a close one. But you know what? Let me say this. I'm not going to mind if, Fernando Mendoza ends up losing this game and goes on a scorched earth tour in his NFL journey and, leaves where Tom Brady picks up where Tom Brady left it in terms of Super Bowls. I'm not going to complain as a Raider fan. So maybe it is the U that's back. We'll see what is up. That is on Monday. But before that, we have the 2 other games like I mentioned. So stay tuned for that. Go catch up on the previous episodes. Got to come back with some, jump ball and football frenzy probably too. But stay tuned till then. You already know. Peace.